My name is Ryan Cruz, and I'll be talking to you today about the brief description of the process. Newton Hardware Company is a business that specializes in selling tools and other hardwares to other businesses. Newton's current revenue cycle involves 6 different types of employees: the sales clerk, warehouse clerk, shipping clerk, credit manager, accountant, and the cash collections clerk. Newton's current revenue cycle begins with receiving and preparing the customer's order. After it is prepared, the order is sent to the warehouse clerk to be picked and packed. Once it is picked and packed, it is then sent to the shipping clerk so that it can be shipped to the customer. Meanwhile, the accountant prepares and mails an invoice to the customer to verify the sale and update the accounts receivable. After it is shipped and an invoice is mailed to the customer, the sales clerk conducts a credit approval to ensure that the sale does not go over the credit limit. If the sale does go above the credit limit, the credit manager will approve or deny the credit depending on any specific authorization. Once the product has been received, the cash collection clerk will begin to receive remittance from the customer. Once the cash or check is received, the cash collection clerk will stamp for deposit only and send the check over to the accountant so that they can update the accounts receivable and deposit the remittance in the bank. Lastly, the cash collection clerk every month receives and reconciles the bank statements. Newton's Hardware Company's current revenue cycle covers all parts of the cycle, but there are a few poor internal controls and weaknesses that may cause future problems for Newton.
Hello, my name is Eduardo Izquierdo, and I will be talking about the context diagram, which is a high-level summary of the data flow diagram that describes the flow of data in an organization. The context diagram that you see here is a representation of Newton's hardware revenue cycle, which primary objectives is to record the sales of products and services that are made to a customers, and also record payments that are made from those sales. As you can see, the revenue cycle starts with the customers making an order to the company that it travels directly to the revenue cycle. In the revenue cycle, the employees there check the order and check the past history that the company has with the customers. For example, they see if the customer has enough credit, and if he does, the next step is to check the inventory. There they check the inventory to see that we have the product. If everything is a go, then the revenue cycle sends a package slip to the carrier to approve the shipment of the product that the customer order. Also, after the shipment is sent to the customer, inside the shipment, the revenue cycle sends an invoice and a copy of the package slip, so the customer can verify that the order that he received is correct. After the revenue cycle receives a payment from a customer, then, as I explained before, that payment is recorded in the revenue cycle, and the money or the check is deposited into the bank. And that is the revenue cycle of Newton's hardware supply. Thank you very much.
My name is Ray Gonzalez, and I will be presenting the Level 0 diagram for our client, Newton's Hardware Company. Now, this diagram involves 4 processes, which include the sales order entry, shipping, billing, and lastly, cash collections. There are also 3 entities part of this revenue cycle, which include customer, the carrier, and the bank. So let's start off with the sales order process, which is the process number 1. Here, customer places the order and it is received by the sales clerk, and now the sales order contains information about the item numbers, quantities, prices, and other terms of the sale. The customer's data is then retrieved from the data store from the customer's file, which contains name, address, previous orders, etc. Also, the inventory availability is checked in order to fulfill the sales order, and the system generates a picking ticket that lists the items and quantities of each item that the customer ordered. We wouldn't want to get those wrong, right? Now, furthermore, sales order is then sent to the sales order data store for it to be retrieved and updated later in the shipping and billing process, which are process 2 and 3. The sales order is also sent to shipping, which I will go into next. Now, here in the shipping department, the picking ticket generated by the sales order entry process triggers the pick and pack process. Shipping employees enter data from their activities as soon as they are performed, thereby updating the information about inventory status in real time. So there's always an updated amount in the system of inventory so that they could fulfill the orders that are coming in. Okay, so now it also here in the shipping process, it also produces a packing slip and multiple copies of the bill of lading. Once the order has been picked, the bill of lading packing slip, is sent to the carrier so they can deliver the goods ordered to the customer. Now, the bill of lading is also sent to the billing department. Now, in the billing process, customer data is retrieved as well as the sales order data store from the sales data store and the shipping to create sales invoice, which is then sent to cash collections and billed to the customer. Data is updated in the customer data, and then lastly in the cash collections, data is received from the customer data store and then updated after payment has been received from the customer. Also, after payment, receipt confirmation is made and the data is stored in the received data store. Now lastly, the funds are deposited to the bank, and so this pretty much sums up the 4 performed basic revenue cycle activities for our client, Newton Hardware Company. Once again, it starts off with the sales order entry, goes off to shipping, then billing, and lastly ends off in the cash collections so they can collect that revenue and proceed with business as usual. All right.
Hello, my name is Kelly Sherwood, and I will be talking about Newton Hardware's Revenue Cycle REA diagram. This diagram composes of 4 sequential activities: taking customer orders, filling customer orders, billing customers, and receiving payment. Resources involved in this process include cash and inventory. Like many other revenue cycle transactions, the first activity, taking the customer order, involves the maximum of 2 parties, an employee and a customer. This diagram indicates that either no orders were actually taken or many orders were taken. The second activity, fill customer orders, reduces Newton Hardware's inventory by delivering it to the customer. This involves checking the stock to see if the item required is available, which can include 1 or many items. 1 order can be taken at this stage, but either no sale could occur or 1 sale could occur. This is due to the fact that there is either no inventory available or the inventory is available. The third activity involves Newton Hardware billing its customers. In this situation, only 1 customer and 1 employee is involved. The employee and customer exchange information that is required, like the amount of money due and the payment type. In addition, only 1 sale will receive 1 payment, or no payment at all. In the last activity, a Newton's Hardware employee collects payment from its customer. This increases the amount of cash available if payment is made. If cash is received, then it is introduced to the cash supply in one period of time.
Hi, my name is Nelly Palma and I will be discussing the REA table of primary and foreign keys of the REA model previously discussed. Primary keys are attributes that uniquely identify each record. Each table must have a primary key that uniquely identifies each row in the table. Foreign keys are attributes of one entity that is itself the primary key of another entity. The first table is inventory. The primary key of inventory is the product number. The second table, the sales table, has the primary key of the invoice number. It has 3 foreign keys because it has a one-to-one or one-to-none relationship with the customer, employee, and take customer order tables. The employee table has only a primary key of employee number. The customer table only has a primary key of a customer number. The cash table, as well, only has a primary key of an account number. The take customer order, however, has a primary key and a foreign key as well. Its primary key is the sales order number, and the foreign keys are customer number and employee number, since it has a one-to-many relationship with the customer and employee tables. The received cash, similarly, has a primary key of the remittance number and 3 foreign keys of customer number, employee number, and invoice number because of its one-to-many and one-to-none relationship with those tables. Also, since the relationship between sales and inventory is a many-to-many one, there needs to be a separate table that shows concatenated keys. Concatenated keys are 2 or more primary keys of other database tables that, together, become the unique identifier or primary key of a many-to-many relationship table. With that said, the sales and inventory table have primary keys of invoice number and product number, the primary keys of each table respectively. The same goes for the take customer order and inventory tables. The need for concatenated keys is also present for this many-to-many relationship table. The primary keys are sales order number and product number. And that concludes the REA table of attributes.
Hi, my name is Juliana Benavides, and I will be discussing Newton Hardware's document flowchart. The flowchart starts in the sales department. Once a customer makes an order, it is processed by a sales clerk. The sales clerk takes the customer order and prepares a sales order for that specific customer. Out of this sales order comes 3 important documents: a shipment invoice, a billing invoice, and a customer invoice. The shipment invoice is sent to the shipping and warehouse department. This is to ensure that the products that the customer has ordered are still in inventory. After the shipping clerk has ensured that the products are still in inventory, he packs the items and sends a bill of lading to the carrier. This not only ensures that the products that the customer has ordered are in inventory, but also makes sure that the customer will receive that order and that the amount of products that he has ordered are correct. The billing invoice is sent to the billing department. The billing clerk processes this information and sends a bill to the customer. This is to make sure that the customer has received the order and knows that the order is still on track. This document is then sent to 3 different locations: a sales journal, which is to ensure that the company knows that the sale has been completed successfully and that a bill has been sent to the customer. This also goes into a file compartment. This is to make sure that the company knows where the documents have gone and knows that the customer is aware of the order, that the order has been processed. Lastly, the billing department sends an invoice to the customer. This is to make sure that the customer knows that the order has been processed and that a bill has been sent to them and that payment is to be made. Lastly, a customer invoice is sent to the cash collections. Cash collections receives remittance from the customer after payment has been made. After this payment has been made, they update the accounts receivable. This is to make sure that they know that the customer has paid the order and that the transaction has been completed successfully. Lastly, the accounting clerk reconciles the back statement to make sure that everything is still on track and that the payment has been made and that the transaction has been completed successfully.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Lopez, and I will be discussing Newton Hardware Company's weaknesses, threats, and any recommendations that we can provide to fix these issues. So one weakness that we found was that Bookkeeper 8 authorized write-offs of customer accounts and approved their credits. This could be a potential threat or problem to the company because the bookkeeper could easily approve sales to friends or family and later just write them off. One recommendation that we would provide to the company is for someone else to authorize the write-off to the customer accounts. Another weakness that we found with this case is that the warehouse clerk initiated the posting of the inventory records by preparing shipping advice. A problem with this is that the failure to prepare shipping advice can result in inaccurate inventory records, which can they can actually easily release goods to their friends without providing them with an invoice. So basically for free. A recommendation that we would give them is that the inventory posting should be done by a sales clerk once all sales are approved. Another weakness that we found is that the collection clerk initiated the posting of the receipts to the subsidiary accounts, receivable ledger, they also have initial access to the receipts. This can lead to theft by lapping. We recommend them to that the checks should be opened by someone who does not have a bookkeeping or an accounting duty. That person should then send the list of the cash receipts to the collections clerk, and it should be used to record cash receipts. One other weakness that we found is that the bookkeeper C maintains both journals and they also post to the ledgers. This is a problem with separation of duties. We think that it can lead to an accurate recording to both processes. So our recommendation would be that another bookkeeper should record the journals while bookkeeper C can post them to the ledgers.
Hello, my name is Suleika Yusuf, and I'll be talking more about the weakness and the threats, and then suggest internal controls for Newton Hardware Company. So one of the weaknesses that we find in this case study is that a bookkeeper approves the credits after the shipping. This is really a big problem, and it's going to cause a lot. And one of the things that is going to cause Newton Hardware is not able to collect the sales, because we not really know that if this customer has a capability to pay the bills if you're just shipping the products before you approve the credits of that particular customer. So in order for us to have this smooth process, we are going to recommend Newton Hardware to have a credit approval before the shipping of merchandise to the customer. The other weakness is the warehouse clerk he does not retain the copy of the shipping advice. Therefore, it's not easy to identify loss if the sender has made an accident. What we are going to recommend here is for Newton Hardware Company is to use at least 4 copies of shipping advice and retain 1 copy in the warehouse as a reference. Another weakness also is really important and very crucial to point it out is the cash collection clerk. He does not deposit the check as he's supposed to, which causes an issue of either the loss of check or loss of interest at work, which are really very crucial and very, very, very important to be taken care of. So to solving this, we are going to recommend for Newton Hardware Company to have the cash collection clerk. He must deposit all check as is supposed to. Lastly, one of the weaknesses is we found out from this case study that the cash collection clerk, the same guy, also he has access to cash in bank statement, which indicates no separation of work. In addition, this can cause a cover-up theft by forging the bank reconciliation. Therefore, Newton should segregate the duties by allowing another employee to perform bank reconciliation with no other involvement in the cash receipt processing. And the cash clerk, he should only have one duty, which is to collect the cash. Nothing else. Thank you.